everyone, I'm Rosie.
And I'm Carl.
And this is Flying Flusky.
And we can you and me together. And we can you and me forever.
Good morning from day 4 aboard our VIVA Cruises Send to Atlantic cruise, and you join us in Le Havre on a coach tour. First stop is the iconic St. Joseph's Church, with a little distraction along the way. St. Joseph's is an iconic church which does divide opinion. It was built between 1945 and 1967 out of concrete when Auguste Perret, the architect, was rebuilding the city. They used thousands of individual glass pieces to create these patterns instead of traditional stained glass.
From the outside, this looks so plain. I can't believe how different it is.
We hopped onto the coach and it was about a 40-minute drive down the coast to Etretat.
We've made it to Etretat, here on the French coast. It is up on what they call the alabaster cliffs. Even though there's no alabaster in them, they're chalk cliffs, I guess made of the same stuff as Dover, just across the way. Bienvenue à Etretat. I was noticing these pebbles sound exactly like the ones from my hometown, Brighton. And it's because we have the same makeup of cliffs as they do here in Etretat.
This has always been a favourite spot for artists, including Claude Monet, who painted it over and over again.
We are heading up there.
We are on the promenade, walking along. We're going to go up the cliffs and see the view to the northeast and, well, all directions apparently. Somehow to the south as well. It's about a 20-minute walk, so we're going to have a wander up to see what it's like.
About visiting Normandy is that so much of it was destroyed during World War II. They have a plaque here showing what it used to look like before they had to install guns here. It's a shame to have lost so much traditional French architecture, but as Mr. Flusky said, you gotta do what you gotta do.
There's a little golf green right here on the side of the cliffs, which is all okay until you lose your ball, and then it's definitely gone.
The short, steep climb is definitely worth it for the views.
The hill up is pretty steep. Everyone's pretending that they're fit. I wasn't, I was just huffing and puffing. I'm not really sure how this happened, but this is our second emergency services day in about a week. We had the one in Lucerne, and now we've got one in Etretat, and I think they're going to demonstrate rescuing someone from the sea by helicopter. We've got a diver, a lifeboat, and an upturned canoe, and a helicopter. Into the beautiful wooden covered market. And yeah.
The Calvados.
Well, we all know I'd spend a fortune on cider in there. But other than that, it's all a bit tackier than I expected, considering it's such a beautiful wooden building.
So I'm sure Etretat is beautiful when the sun's out, but as it suffers from the same weather as we do in the UK, it's been very much like a day out at the British seaside. We contemplated getting an ice cream, but it is just a bit too chilly. And if we were staying, I might get a big bucket of mussels because I love mussels. But yeah, I don't think we have time. So back to Phuket.
Cidre on the way back to the boat because, you know, you got to support the local economy.
Just come in the lounge, the Panorama Lounge, we finally learned the name, for some
Light lunch.
light lunch, and then we'll go downstairs for the main meal.
And the bit I'm excited about is the croque monsieur. Let's see how they do.
What did you think of Etretat?
Yeah, Etretat was nice. I thought you were going
Put
to
that little buffering wheel in there.
I thought you were going to ask me about the Havre.
You haven't seen it? Well, I suppose you've seen the church.
Yeah.
What did you think of the one thing we saw in Le Havre?
It's an interesting church with the concrete structure and the hollowed out tower. Doesn't look that interesting from outside, but then inside you see all the stained glass windows, which is nice.
Yeah, it's got kind of factory vibes from the outside.
Yeah.
Which I guess fits in with the vaguely industrial place we are. Right, heading out to explore some more of Le Havre by ourselves.
So far the walk's been along some pretty uninspiring roads. But it looks like we're coming into kind of old Le Havre rather than just port buildings. So that's nice.
I'm going to apologise now for the sound for the rest of this because it was so windy. We passed by the famous Carten de Conteneur, apologies if I pronounced that wrong, created by Vincent Carnevale. It looks like two rainbows made out of shipping containers and was installed for the city and port's 500th anniversary.
We're taking a stroll around Le Havre and most of the buildings look like this. But it seems like the Notre Dame survived the Allied bombings, and so it's got a little bit more character than a lot of the others. The tower dates from 1520 and this facade is Baroque. And the reason it's kind of a lot shorter than most Notre Dames you might see is that they were worried about the ground below it, so close to the coast, being able to support anything bigger.
Catching fish.
A lot of nets up. Maybe they're worried about it falling down still. You have to come quite close to see the whole organ.
It was turned into a temple of the reason and then into a hayloft. The church was restored for God worship in 1801. Its complete restoration was achieved in 1830. The church suffered heavy damages during World War II.
You can see the clear glass is where they lost stained glass during the bombings. And it turns out they were right to be worried about the marshy land underneath, as this southern wall threatened to collapse in 1994. And they had to put in some buttresses and renovate. The Monument of Death.
On Place Charles de Gaulle, onto the Bassin Commercial. Commercial basin. So as we leave Place Charles de Gaulle, coming across the volcano, you can see in the distance the Hôtel de Ville with the tower, the flag and the clock. It looks a bit 60s-ish, doesn't it? But across here, the main thing is the volcano, as it's known, which is I believe the theatre, library, art centre.
Brazilian architect Oscar Niemeyer was charged with creating a new cultural space, and he created this otherworldly design And even though it's called Le Volcan, the volcano, it's designed to emulate the steam chimneys of the steamers that used to stop here before they went off to New York. And just in case you forgot who it was designed by, he left a signature. Right, what were you saying about this building?
Oh, so this grey building over here appears to have balconies 360 degrees around it. Gives it, it's also got quite an interesting twisted like shape. But the balconies give it like a light blue tint on the edge. The light's going through the glass.
It's starting to rain, so we're heading back to the VIVA Gloria. Welcome to dinner. I'm starting with some more cider, and I said, how much have we got left? And he said, a lot. We'll make it to the cruise, but
We will see. I have a Mai Tai because they make an excellent Mai Tai.
I think if you start serving it in pints, that might be better.
For our appetizers, we have cucumber roll with Marie Antoinette Carême.
Whatever that be. It's smoked trout mousse and dill. I'm getting like Russian vibes.
Zdrowie.
That. What do we have?
We have a salmon trout fillet, apparently, with
That's
cream.
some dodgy crossbreeding.
Yeah, with some creamed spinach, some how do they call
Fingerling
them?
potatoes?
Fingerling potatoes, and a lemon dill sauce. There's the lemon.
I got the half portion, which is probably a 2/3 portion. But, yeah, still looks delish. Seems pretty good. Joli. Maybe that means something else?
Well, the other one was in a cocktail glass, even wetter.
Maybe it's just macerated strawberries. But it's very sweet, whatever it is. More like it. We have confirmed they've accidentally brought us the other one, which is the strawberries and green tea. With creme fraiche foam and cress? Watercress.
Strawberry sorbet,
Sure,
and apparently
but watercress.
cress.
Or cress of some description. I was chewing on it and it's definitely like peppery. It's not the one.
I've had my salad today. I don't need more cress.
Well, we entirely missed filming the sparkler and the happy birthday song. But this is the cake that this lovely lady got for her birthday and she's going to share with us. Do you want to give it a try?
Yep.
See what it is.
Honeycomb, chocolate, cream, maybe sponge.
All right, so a quick debrief about the end of our evening. That makes it sound very dramatic, it's not. So we went up to the Panorama Lounge, sat around for a bit listening to the light music and waiting for the disco.
At 10 o'clock.
10
o'clock came and went.
About 10:15, the entertainer reappeared in her new guise as DJ, but actually she kept on playing. It was a bit louder, it was a bit more upbeat, but it was still
her playing the piano and singing along.
And so most of the room thought it was just a performance and they were clapping in between each thing. No one was dancing and it was really awkward, so we also didn't dance.
Yeah, a bit of a shame. We weren't the only ones who were expecting a bit more. A couple of other people who've been talking to beforehand, they, after a while, they gave up, and as they were leaving, said they expected, it to be a bit more lively and for there to be music that would have people up and dancing.
It was a little bit disappointing as an evening. I should have stuck with my routine thus far. Wake up far too early, go to bed far too early, which you haven't enjoyed much.
No, I'm not a morning person. So I thought this was the excuse to stay up late and enjoy the evening, but we did still enjoy chatting. And
Yeah,
having a
And
drink, but
they said there's enough cider for me for the rest of the cruise, and thus far they haven't run out. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough.
well, they are only serving it in champagne flutes.
Yeah, which is good because otherwise I think I'd be trashed. Tomorrow evening we have dinner in the Vino restaurant,
At the back of the ship.
and then the following evening is the gala night, which is going to be nice, but we didn't really know that it was happening. I didn't bring any jewelry, and Carl didn't bring a suit. So
We'll make our best smart appearances.
there is a Primark like 10 minutes walk from the boat, so I might.
I see a light, and we could.